Once again, a little bit of housekeeping. Go to your Android store or your iPhone store. Take us everywhere you go 24/7 by downloading the free app on Sador Radio. I am on every Monday, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Tonight it's going to be 8:30 to 10 p.m. I have a lot to talk about. So I hope that y'all have your ink pens and papers out. I am Carolyn, the host of the Let's Talk with Carolyn radio show on Sador Radio. So I did post, and this is what I post: how other cultures use their monies to grow their communities to service others, and can their methods work in Black communities? So I'm gonna give y'all two types. To me, it's called ground floor grassroots fundraisers. I'm gonna give you two examples, and when this is over, you can put in your comments if you think this is work or you think is not gonna work. Next, I had put on there racism versus prejudice. Two topics that I don't know. It may open up Pandora's box with some of them, but I'm gonna tell you, well, we'll talk about it. The next is slave mentality, another one that may be Pandora's box, but I'm gonna talk about it with some dialogue. And the next is, what is success? That one is not Pandora's box, but we're gonna talk about it anyway. So I wanna share this with you. A lot of talk has been given on media, on social media, in private conversations about putting the Black dollar back into the Black community. And there's some history that has been brought up along with putting the Black dollar and back into the Black communities. And one of the things that is very prominent that has come up within the past, I don't know, past few decades, years, but more so lately in the news, which is Black Wall Street. Black Wall Street has been coming up very often in conversations, especially with people who know about Black Wall Street and all of the properties that we owned and our own farming, our own stores. So over the years, the history of it was lost. I'm glad that the history is coming back, because one thing that I've learned about Black Wall Street is the reason why we no longer have it is because it was destroyed, because the other side felt as though we acquired, we earned too much. So they burned it. So now we are here with the uprising. And it's not just about the Black Americans and the Africans and other people of color being killed by their own people or by police. It's not just about that. The uprising is not just about that. The uprising is about the oppression, and people are tired. They're physically tired of the oppression. So when it comes to what can we do to bring the Black dollar back into our community, I'm gonna give you two examples. And I want you to think for yourself, could it work in Black America? I'm gonna tell you what other cultures are doing, and then you think about it. Could that possibly work? Let me give you two examples, two ways, and you just think about it for yourself. But first, before I go there, I want to give you the qualities of grassroots campaigns. One is community. Community with the sense of unity. Can our people band together as one and make it work? Can they do it? Can we do it even as a family? Can we do it one block at a time as in neighbors? Community, unity. Is that possible? Next is ownership. Ownership of a call to action that's tailored by individuals to build a brand or make it their own. Number three is resources. Use the resources that you have available to you. And don't reinvent the wheel. Please don't do that. Don't reinvent the wheel. I have to do something first. Give me a minute. I'm just keeping it real with y'all. But right now, I got to turn down my phone so I'm not interrupted. All right. Number four, stories. Stories have a message. Communities can impact with their stories of those that are involved in the grassroots and how it has helped them. If it helped them, can it help other people? Think about that. Then you want to do the visual thing. You want to take pictures. Why? Pictures are proof. Pictures are storytellers, as well as voice is storytelling. But pictures are proof that what was put in place can work. Okay? Next is urgency. How bad do you want it? Can you come together as a family? Can you come together as a group of neighbors? Can you come together as a community of people? And you set a concrete goal and you set a deadline. So I just given you 6 qualities of grassroots campaign. 6. Okay? So that's one way. You campaign, if you want to do a campaign, you set it up amongst a group. If you want to get other people involved, you gotta send your message out. You could use social media to send your message out. You could use the media to send your message out. Set a goal, share your stories. That's one way. Now let's talk about my headline. How is other cultures using their monies to build businesses in our neighborhoods and building their wealth from our dollars? Okay, so let me give you what's being done. When I give you what's being done, it's not new in these cultures. This is how this is how some of these cultures work. Some cultures, yes, they come to our country, they get X amount of dollars, and they open up a store. Other cultures, I said countries, I mean cultures. Other cultures, they work as a unit, they work as a family, they send families over here one at a time, they work in the store, they build up the store, they ship them back home. Then the next person comes in and does the same thing, which is a repeated cycle. So it's this, I'm gonna tell you what they do, and because all of us Black Americans shop in these stores, you tell me which culture you think it is. I'm gonna give you my number, 267-864-8639. So here we go. There is a culture of people that does a method called money rotation. Keep this in mind, money rotation. There's a culture of people that has a method called money rotation. And this is what they do. They get a group of 10 to 20 people. 10 to 20 people collectively put up $10,000 each. Keyword, collectively. Every 6 months, each person, when it's their turn, gets $100,000 to open up a store, to start a business. They hire only family and friends. Those family and friends work for minimum wage as interns. When it is their time to open up a store, to start their own business, the plan, and they do it over. So in case y'all not getting what I'm saying, let me break it down a little bit further. Let's say you and 10 to 20 of your family members, if y'all could do this without being jealous of one another, because y'all know how we are. 10 to 20 of your family members, I'm gonna stick with family, your family members put up $10,000. You select that one person to start their business. Now, this person is going to get $100,000 to start their business. It rotates every 6 months. The person that got the $100,000 have to give back. They have to give back to the family. They also have to give up $10,000 to the person that's next in line to start a business. And it rotates every 6 months. It rotates every 6 months. When it comes to, well, who's going to work in my store? Family members, because we're sticking with family. Family members is going to work for a minimum wage. And y'all may say, because y'all got issues with that now, I'm not working for no minimum wage. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. But you forget the long-term goal. The long-term goal is everybody wins. Because when all 10 or 20 of your family members have a store, everybody wins. The question is, can we, as a family of Black Americans, or as a group of neighbors, or as a community, do that? That is a model that works, that has been working for certain cultures for history. And this is what they do. They come into our neighborhoods and they have a cleaning business, they have a shoe business, they have a restaurant, they have a grocery store, they have a beauty supply store, they have a clothing store, they have an electronics store, they have any kind of store that they want. And they put the stores in the Black communities and build their wealth for their families from our dollars. I hope y'all understand what I'm saying. I really do. I hope you understand the visual picture that I am giving you. Now, my question for y'all is, can your family do that? Can it start one family at a time, one neighborhood at a time, one community at a time? That's on a small scale. But what if every family did it? What if a neighborhood did it? I mean, Black neighborhoods. Black neighborhoods did it. What if communities did it? Black communities did it. Because we have all these other cultures that are doing this because they get it. You know that old saying about crabs in the barrel? Have you ever went crabbing and you put the crabs in the bucket? Have you noticed that when you put the crabs in the bucket, the one crab that's trying to crawl out, the other crabs is trying to, they don't try, they do it. They pull that one crab that's trying to reach to the top, they pull that crab down. Does that sound familiar? Does that analogy even make sense? Can you think of a culture of people that's like that? Where you have someone trying to be successful, trying to climb to the top, and you got people that are naysayers, you got people that are dream stealers, you have people that are saying, oh, that will never work. Y'all know anybody like that? Y'all know anybody that tell people, I don't know why you're doing that, or you always doing something? And then what happens? That's a way of pulling that person down verbally. May not be doing it physically, but you're definitely doing it emotionally, mentally, and verbally. The ones that survive that craziness do it anyway. They do it anyway, regardless of what's being said, because they already been prepped. They already been conditioned. They have a mentor, they have a coach, they have a guider, they have someone telling them, you can do this. This will work. Can it be done with us? Can your family do that without being jealous and envious and give up? Can you stick it out to the end and not say, you know what, I invested my $10,000, now I want my money back because I don't want to wait my turn for 6 months. 6 months too long to be waiting to get what I'm supposed to get so I could start my business. I'm just saying, bringing out some points to y'all. Just saying, just bringing out some points that works for other cultures. Ask yourself this: can it work for your family? Do y'all think it could work for your family? If you have a pen and paper out, this is what I want you to do. Get out a pen and paper and write down your family members. Write down 20 family members. I'm a math person. Hold on. I'm giving y'all something to do. But first, I got to do my math. And I don't mean M-A-T-H. I mean M-A-P-H. So let's do the math. Let's keep it, I'm sorry, I got the hiccups. Let's keep it little, not big. All right, I was right. My math was right. So 20 is going to give you, 20 family members is going to give you $200,000. 10 family members is going to get you $100,000. My math was right. So you're going to write down, let's go little, 10 family members that you believe is resourceful enough. Key word is resourceful, everybody. Is resourceful enough to come up with $10,000 each. If each one of those individuals, your family members, your loved ones, have $10,000, and you sit down as a family and you ask each family member, would you like to start your own business? If so, what? Say, this is a unity thing. This is a family thing. It gotta work. Each family member tells you, okay, I would like to own, I don't know, I would like to own a restaurant. You have another family member that wants to get involved in Forex. You have another family member, let's not do Forex trading. Let's keep it simple. You have another family member that wants to open up a beauty salon. You have another family member, that's two. You have another family member that wants to open up a grocery store. You have another family member that wants to open up a clothing store. You have another family member that wants to open up a shoe store. You have another family member that wants to have a gentleman's only store. You have another family member that wants to have a women's only store. You have another family member that wants to have a children's only store. Y'all see where I'm getting with this? Now, your family members have told you what type store or business they would like to start. As a unit, as a family, y'all decide on which person is going to be the first one in your family to get members 10. Which one of your family members is going to be the one to get $100,000 to start their business? Now, here's the thing. Is there any bank funding involved with this? Nope. Did you have to go to the bank just to be turned down? Nope. Do you owe anybody any money? Nope. But you do, when you get your money and you start your business, you got to give back. Some of y'all so freaking stingy, you don't want to give back. But in this situation, in this life-changing event, you got to give back. And what you're going to give back is your $10,000 that is going to rotate to the next person in line to get the $100,000. That person, when they open up their business, they give back $10,000 for the next person. And what does this does long term? It creates generational wealth. It creates a family business. Can you pass down these businesses to your children? I would think you can. Is it creating generational wealth? I would say so. Who else do you need to be involved once this business is set up? You got to go through some legal entities. Make sure your business is legal so the government can't come in and shut you down. You still got to go through that. So you might need a lawyer. File your paperwork for you. Or you could do it yourself, but make sure it's done correctly. You need a CPA, certified public accountant. Make sure your money right. So there's other things involved, but one thing for sure is your family will not have to pay money back to a bank with interest. This is called money rotation. I have a friend that we talked about this like months ago, and she told me what her idea was. And I asked her, do you think your idea is going to work? And this is what she said. She said, I have to be cautious and careful when it comes to my family members of who I invite to do this, because I have no issues with canceling them out. So I say this to you. When you make your list of family members, make sure that the family members you are selecting is trustworthy. Make sure that they are trustworthy. Not trustworthy, scratch them off the list. If you think they thieves, scratch them off the list. If you think they're going to do something illegal, scratch them off the list. If they're not up to par in any kind of way, scratch them off the list. But however, if they're legitimate, they stand up, they honest, they truthful, keep them on the list. Keep them on the list, y'all. So y'all let me know. Do y'all think, believe this can work? I put it out there. I put it out there. And then you may say, well, Carol, you putting this out there, but is you doing it? Hell yeah. I've already started. And there's certain people in my family I would never ask, period. I'm just being honest. I did my list. I wrote it out. I had more scratch-offs than I had anything. I had to tear the paper up and start all over again. You may have to do the same thing. I had to do it twice because I had to really think, can I trust this person? What have they done with their life? Are they productive? Where is their thinking at? Is it outside the box? Or is it inside? I mean, they never think outside the box. And the other question I ask myself is, how many times with some family members, how many times have I asked certain family members, would you like to do such and such? Nah, I don't think I want to do that. You know how many times I heard that from family members? But those same family members are the ones that's complaining, I don't have no money. Can I borrow some money? Well, shit, I'm not the goddamn ATM either. I can tell you how to get some so that you don't have to be asking me, can you borrow? Because if I tell you how to get some and you do it, then you ain't got to worry about me borrowing no money, borrowing money from me, and I don't have to worry about you asking me for no money. So when you're thinking about family members, think in that context. Because family members can be funny sometimes. And everybody got some. Everybody has some. Next, you know what? I'm gonna take a short break. I wanted to go into my next topic, but I'm not. I'm gonna wait, and I'm gonna let y'all tune into this.
It's time for the percolator. 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 Percolator. For the percolator. It's time percolator. It's time for the 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 percolator.
Percolator.
Percolator. It's time for the 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 percolator. It's time for
Hey, it's time for the percolator. All right, so I'm getting back into the second topic. Second topic was this: racism versus prejudice, and what is racism and what is prejudice. Now, I watched a program on TV I believe it was with Morgan Freeman. He was asked, is there, I believe, I'm trying to remember because it's been a minute. He was asked, is there a such thing as racism? And when he responded with his answer, I had to think about that. And the answer was no. However, he explained why. He explained his answer. So the next question was, what can be done to end racism? I liked the second answer. I liked all his answers. I mean, it's his opinion, his feelings. He's entitled to them like everybody else. So anyway, he said, stop calling me what you call me. I'm not going to say the name. And I stop calling you. I'm not going to say that name, but y'all get the picture. And he had a point. Racism is prejudice, it's discrimination, or an antagonism that can be against a person or a group of people on the basis of their membership of a particular racial or ethnic group, whether it is marginalized or a minority. That's racism. The other part of this is prejudice. Prejudice is an unfavorable feeling, someone's opinion that is formed in advance of something or without knowledge, a thought or a reason. That can be favorable or it could be unfavorable, depending on how you look at it. The difference between racism and prejudice, you can be, some people say there's no such thing as racism, but racism has a whole lot to do with the P word. I'll explain what the P word is in a minute. You have, and this is where, remember when I said it's certain topics I'm gonna be talking about tonight that may open up Pandora's box, or some people may say, Carol, I disagree with you, and I'm gonna tell you people now, you can disagree with me, and I'm okay with that. Everybody's not supposed to agree with everybody, and if everybody did agree with everybody, we would live in a happy society, and we don't. So it's okay that you disagree with what I'm saying. I welcome your comments, your opinions, your feelings, your beliefs, your agreements, your disagreements. I welcome it. It's called good dialogue, and I'm okay with that. However, you have racism is a factor of power. I'm gonna repeat that because some of y'all probably didn't get it. Racism is a factor of power. Power is the primary feature of racism. Who has the power? Who doesn't? Think about that for a minute. When it comes to prejudice, we have several types of prejudice. Several. Racism is one of them. Sexism, ageism, classism, homophobia, which we'll talk about next. nationalism, religious prejudice, ageism, xenophobia, all of them are caused by learned behavior. Every last one of them is caused by learned behavior. Why is people prejudiced against the LGBTQ community? Why? How come people don't like other people because of their culture or because they are of mixed cultures, because they are biracial? The gay community and the biracial community is catching it. They're really catching it. Yeah, Black Americans is catching it from all ends. But you have the gay community and you have the biracial people and the parents of those biracial people that have always court hell because one group of their sexual preference, another group of their cultural preference. Think about that, all you people. Okay, I'm just putting it out there. Y'all know me, I talk about topics that people want to like push up underneath the rug. They don't want to talk about it. It's hush hush bullshit. We're not in the 1950s when I was born and things had to be shoved up underneath the rug because it was forbidden to talk about. We're in freaking 2020. We could talk about anything we want. This is 2020. Say what you want. Sometimes it's how you say it, but you can still say what you want. It's all about how you say it and who you're saying it to. Me, I'm gonna talk about it because if nobody else is talking about it, it has to be a reason why it is being hidden and why people are afraid to talk about things. Why? Because they're hot topics. Shh, 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 don't talk about that. Shh, you can't talk about that. Shh, 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 shh. Don't shush me. I'm gonna talk about it. It's called good dialogue. Racism, prejudice. We're all in one race. It's called the human race. Everybody has a heart. You were born from a woman. Men can't have babies, so you know it's all women. We are the birth givers. It is what it is, people. We're all one human race. One race, human race. Some people can't get it. Some people don't want it. There's a group out here called, oh man, I need to find it. I need to find this group. And you know what? I'm gonna let y'all listen to some music while I find this group. right, fam, I got it. I got it. I found it. So there's a group out here, and I want y'all to listen to this. Just listen. Hold on.
Close to somebody who has zero respect for me. He doesn't believe in equality. He don't believe we should race mix, live in the same neighborhoods. That was very disheartening to me. First of all, let's get one thing straight. Okay. Do you believe in white privilege? Yeah, white privilege is wonderful. I want to expand and deepen white privilege. We are living at a time in which white people are losing social dominance day by day. You're afraid of being marginalized, right? Welcome to what it feels like to be black. You don't think white folks still dominate the world? We do dominate the world to an extent. Look at the boards of directors in those corporations, tons of white people and Jews. Yes, but every day we hear, oh, isn't this great? There's more diversity in this corporation. Don't we need more people of color in films and movies? Isn't this wonderful? What is the trajectory? Where is the arrow pointing? The arrow is pointing away from white power. In my lifetime, what's going to probably happen is that I am going to become a minority in the United States. But what do I want for my great-grandchildren? I do want them to live in a white society, a European empire. You don't consider yourself a racist. I would never say something like, I don't like black people. I mean, that's not what I'm about. You don't want me in your neighborhood. Right. I mean, I think the country is fragmenting because at the end of the day, racial differences cannot fundamentally be breached, ever. What? American Race, see May 7th after the NBA playoffs and watch the entire docuseries the next day.
All right, did y'all hear that? And I'm going to share with you the, see if I could find it. It's called the darn it. Hold on. There's a group, white supremacist group called the alt-right group, who wants us, get this, wants us and as Black Americans to have our own of everything so that we are not living amongst them. We are segregated from them because they feel as though they are being marginalized. And remember, I brought up marginalized earlier when I was talking about racism. One that is marginalized, and what he's saying is he feels as though that because we as Black Americans, African Americans, people of color, we are evolving to where we are taking ownership of a lot of things that was taken away from us. And because of that, he feels as though in the near future, his race is going to be where we are today, a minority. I say keep with the uprising. Get back what was taken from us. And you may have some people that feel, oh, Carol, shut up. We ain't never had shit. Well, you know what? You're wrong. Go back. Read your history. Pick up a book and read it. If nothing else, know our history. And you wouldn't have that mentality. Which brings me into this. My next topic. Topic number 3. Slave mentality. All right. And I'm looking at, I got 29 minutes to wrap this up. I'm gonna try to do it in 29. I don't know, but I'm gonna try. I'm try to do this in 29 minutes. I don't know. All right. Having shared the alt-right, and you know what? What I just shared with you, that is going on today. Wake up, people. I done gave you two things that you should be awoke on. Number one, grassroots funding through your family. It'll work for neighborhoods. It'll work for, the example I gave you can work for any community, any neighborhood, but you won't be owing nobody. Money rotation. That was the first one I gave you. Wake up, because other cultures are doing it and they're winning. We should be winning as a culture of people. Next one I gave you, another wake up call, the alt-right group. That's a white supremacist group that's tied to your Uncle Donnie, Donald Trump. Wake up. You have all the signs in front of us. Wake the frick up. Stand up. Slave mentality. Let's go. Dates back to the 1700s. Carried through the 1800s, the 1900s, meaning centuries that is. Why? Because it was a system for economic growth. The whole slave history was about the country's system of economic growth. Period. Then there were slave codes that we still have today, but in a different fashion. You had slave codes that were, I'm gonna tell you why they were introduced. They were introduced to keep and prohibit the act of learning how to read, learning how to write, learning how to carry firearms, attend religious meetings, attend religious groups, attend gatherings. All of those were slave codes that was introduced to keep us from learning. If we learn, it's knowledge that's gained that can't nobody take away from you, because now you're awake. Once you acquire some knowledge, can't nobody take that from you. You have the knowledge to learn, the knowledge to expand, the ability to think for yourself and be creative. Those slave codes controlled the lifestyle and the behavior of the slaves up until a certain point, because once they learned how to read and write and had the capability of forming and gathering and constructing ways of getting out of slavery. Harriet Tubman, everybody. This woman walked 100 miles to and from to help free slaves. She literally walked from Maryland to Philadelphia in her day and time. We have a full history. We have people that have done things in their time so that we can have a lifestyle that we have today. Don't let it be that they did all of this in vain. Martin Luther King Jr., Stokely Carmichael, don't do that. Slave mentality. Let me tell you about it. Slave mentality puts forth minimal effort, knowing that the government is going to take care of you. You can look at the government as being the master. It is what it is. Slave mentality feel as though they're addicted to entitlements, which makes them more apathetic and less likely to work. Now, me having said this, I don't want to get no phone calls from somebody saying, well, Carol, that don't apply to me. Well, I'm going to say this, everybody. If it don't apply to you, keep it moving. But if it do apply to you, wake up. I'm going to say this again in case y'all don't understand. If it don't apply to you, keep it freaking moving. If it do apply to you, wake up to make some changes. Wake up. Slave mentality. These individuals expect, which is way beyond wanting something for nothing. They expect some stuff. I'm entitled to some stuff. That's beyond, I want something for nothing. Way beyond that. Slave mentality. They perform simple labor, housing, welfare, healthcare. This explains why entitlements has risen, increased over our decades, and why people have no problem settling for that. Why settle? You settle for what the government is going to offer you. Why? Because of the rules and regulations? You don't have to settle for less. You should want more. You have every reason to want more. I'm just saying. Those that have the slave mentality have no understanding, none, of the concept of freedom. Why? Because they still have, I'm entitled to it. What makes you think you're entitled to anything? Who told you you was entitled? Why do you think you're entitled? Where did you get it from that you're entitled to it? Instead of earning it. It makes a difference. Earning it, you got to put in some time. You got to put in some blood. You got to put in some sweat. You got to put in some hard work, physical, mental, and spiritually, and emotionally. You got to put the time and the work in. You got to put all those elements in it to actually consider, I'm working my way towards free. And there's different types of free. Spiritually free, emotionally free, financially free, physically free. There's different types of free, y'all. Which free do you want? You want it all? You want some? You want part of it? I don't know. We'll see. So, moving on. Let's take those that oppose what is put down to them. I'm not going to say on them because they can rise out of it, but I'm going to say those that oppose what's put down to them. These are people that actively work to sustain themselves. They have a personal initiative. Personal initiative. These are the individuals that invent, innovate, discover, create, Right. They may be successful or they may fail, but at least they have tried to relish the opportunity. Some of y'all is just not relishing the opportunity because you're too busy being complacent where you're at. And while you're being complacent where you're at, you're also complaining about it. Stop freaking complaining and take action and do something. What's holding you back? You. You can't put it on nobody but you. You are the one that is holding you back. These individuals that invent, innovate, create, discover, write, they are allowed. They've earned it. They bust their butts. They wreck their brain. They put in the time and the hard work. They could believe what they want. They could do what they want. They could go where they want. They could say what they want. They could do whatever the hell it is that they want to do because they put in what's required to get to where they at. These people are allowed to be called entrepreneurs with all the risk and all the responsibilities that's involved. The slave mentality, those that have that slave mentality, they can't grasp any of this until they do a mental shift. You got to do a mental paradigm shift, mental clarity. It's all up here. It's all up here. It's all up here, y'all. Listen, it's all up here. It's all up here. Instead, those that's for the government, you're satisfied with what the government has. I'm gonna give y'all a good example. We're in a pandemic, and I get it. I understand it. And people they wanted the stimulus money, and I understand about the stimulus money. I get it. And it was, I can't say it was a hand up from the government, because it wasn't. It was a hand down for some people. But you know who win? The people that got most but didn't need it? The wealthy and the rich. I'm gonna say the rich. Did they really need a stimulus? No. But they got some. Everybody else, the poor, the working class, the middle class, what did they give y'all? A base of $1,200 plus $500 per kid. So some people made out pretty good. Some people got $6,000 plus on top of unemployment. Then they made it so where they wanted to track your ass. If you have not filed taxes, the only way you can get the stimulus is if you had to file taxes. You had people that had not filed taxes in years. And they said, well, government. Only way individuals can get the stimulus is if they file taxes, and we're going to go by last year's taxes so they can get the $1,200. And what did y'all do? Free money. That's how y'all looked at it. The government gave you free money in exchange for what? Was it really enough? Was $1,200 really enough? Pay your bills, your rent, your mortgage, your utilities, your phone bill, the clothing, for your kids, for you, personal hygiene items, food. I can go on and on with this. Was it really enough? And then what did y'all do when you got your stimulus money? You did everything but. Stimulus money was for essential items. Y'all did everything but. Once again, if it don't apply to you, keep it freaking moving. If it do apply to you, take freaking heed. Don't be mad at me, just take heed. It is what it is. Today, we still have slave codes. We have the media. Who? The media. What do they do? Do the media have the ability to manipulate how we think based on what's right and wrong? Let me tell you something that is by George Orwell. He says, the people will believe what the media tells them they believe. In political correctness, it is an example of how the media influences the perception of people. In reality, the media is controlled by the government, who orchestrates the messages to the masses, which is us. A person who is willing to become subservient to the government in exchange for basic comforts as opposed to earning it. Think about that. I'ma just slow it down for you, in case y'all didn't get it, because I am a fast reader. A person who is willing to become subservient to the government in exchange for basic comforts as opposed to earning it. Let's transition. I think I got less than 15 minutes, y'all. I'm not playing no more music. Not right now. Let's transition. Having said that, a person who is willing to become subservient to the government in exchange for basic comforts as opposed to earning it. And you may say, Carol, I do earn it. I got a job. Let me tell you about a job. What do job really mean? What do it really mean? J-O-B. What happens for job? You go to work for X amount of hours. You're trading time for money. Y'all already know this because I said it before. Y'all trading time for money. You get paid every week, every 2 weeks, or once a month. Some people get paid once a month. What happens when you get your paycheck? Some people have more months than they have money, which means their check don't cover their bills. And what happens? You look at your check and you have to take your bills to the table of consideration, meaning which bills will get paid, which bills will not get paid. They might have to make it the second check. That means you're living from paycheck to paycheck. You can't take vacations when you want to. You can't get a raise when you want to. You can't even ask for a raise and expect to get the freaking raise. You might get fired if you ask for a raise. One of my colleagues got fired because she asked for a raise. It happens. And if you do get a raise, what are they giving you? 25 cents? $1? $2.25? That's what they're giving you, 50-cent raise? You gotta want more, everybody. You gotta want more. That brings us to this transition. You can be an employee because when you get your little paycheck, guess what? You turn around and give it back to the system. Job. They pay you enough. They offer you enough. You go in this interview, they tell you how much money they're going to pay you per hour. That means you are capped. You can't make unlimited income because you are capped. You are capped unless you get a raise. What you got to do to get a raise in your job? Think about it. I'm just putting some stuff out there. So that brings us to transition. Transition. You can be an employee. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Got to pay your bills, got to feed your family. I never said it was something wrong with being an employee. I've been on both sides of the fence, but I woke up years ago. I made the transition. You can say, okay, Carol, there's no way I'm gonna leave my job and become an employee. I'm not telling you to quit your job. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is have a freaking plan B. Instead of going out here getting a second and a third and a fourth job, start a business. Work your job, start a business. With your paycheck, you should be paying yourself 10% of your income before you pay anybody else anyway. How many people are actually doing that? How many people's actually paying themselves 10% of their paycheck before they pay their bills? How many people are actually doing it? It's hard to do. It's discipline to do that. That decision don't come easy. It doesn't. Employee to entrepreneur. And this is what you could do. Ask yourself this. What do you want? I don't know. What do you want to become in life? What is success to you? Everybody has different meanings, different levels of success. What is success to you? What do you want to become? How do you want to become successful? Because there is different levels of success. It is. There's 3 steps that define, I got 7 freaking minutes. All right. There's 3 steps that define success. Step 1. You need to think about why success is important to you. On your professional achievements, remember I said y'all gonna need a pen and paper? Oh, I hope y'all got it. Professional achievements, personal happiness. Personal happiness, financial freedom. How is these 3 gonna make you feel? Will it be more confidence? Will you feel more empowered? Will you? That's step 1. I'm gonna let you know this. Achieve success. For people that have done it, how is it gonna make you feel any different in life? Can you take more vacations? Can you fire your boss? Can you fire your job when you get to a certain level? If you decide to do this. Step 2, uncover what it is that you need to do to get past your obstacles. There's always going to be obstacles, and please, y'all, don't let dream stealers and naysayers be your obstacle. I want you to think about what is going to prevent you from achieving your goal so that you can be successful. Don't let it be dream stealers and naysayers. Because let me tell you something about dream stealers and naysayers. Dream stealers and naysayers don't want you to achieve what you're going after. They want you to stay on the same level that you are on. They want you to stay on the same level that you are on. You do that, They win, you lose, they're satisfied, your ass is unhappy because you in the club. I wish I coulda, shoulda, but I didn't because I listened to my friend over here who has less than me. One thing about learning about success, you want to surround yourself with people that are where you want to be. You want to talk to people that have what you want. And if you talk to them, or you connect with a coach, or you connect with a mentor, and they are successful, and they could tell you the how to, you already know the what. You already know the why, but what you don't know is the how to. If they could tell you how to, I suggest you make the connection. I suggest you make the connection because they could tell you something. They can also show you something that will be beneficial to you. Step by step, one at a time. Step 3. How would you hold yourself accountable for staying on course to achieve your desired life of success? What are you going to do to stay on course? What are you going to do to hold yourself accountable? This is what don't work. I'm going to tell you what don't work. You cannot hold yourself by yourself accountable. You need an accountability partner. You need someone that is going to hold you accountable for what you said you wanted to do. You need an accountability partner. And I added on another one. What action steps would you do to avoid the naysayers? Because you need to stay away from the naysayers. What are you going to do to stay away from the dream stealers so they can't distract you and take you off of your path to success? Because you need to stay focused. You need to be so laser freaking focused you can freaking see it. You could dream it, you could see it, you wake up, you can see it. Okay? And I'm gonna leave with this. There's a lot more that I wanted to go into, but I'm gonna leave you with this. What goal would you achieve today if you knew that there's no way you can quit? What goal would you achieve today if you knew you could not quit? That is not an option. Quitting is not an option. You have been listening to the Let's Talk with Carolyn radio show on Sador Radio. I am Carolyn, the host, and there's a lot more that I wanna give you, that I wanna go into, but my time is ran out. And what I will probably do is, if anybody is interested in I'm gonna say this. If anybody is interested in the rest of this presentation as far as success, reach out to me at 267-864-8639 or text me your name and your email address. Your email address got to be in there, and I'll just email it to you. And that's just the part on employee to entrepreneur to success. If you send me your email, text me your name and your email address, I will send it to you by email. You can have it for free. Anybody else that did this and gave you all of this, they will be charging you. They will definitely be charging you for it. So I am Carolyn. You have been listening to the Let's Talk of Carolyn radio show on Sador Radio. I am on every Monday, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Download on your iPhone or your Android phone the Sador Radio app. Good night, everybody. Take care. Here we go. Hey. I had to get that in there. Woo! Nothing like some house music. Radio Land, I know y'all can't see me, but I was up here getting it in with my line dancing. Hey, everybody. Radio Land, thank you for tuning in with me tonight. I appreciate it. Join me Monday, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Stay blessed up. Wear your mask. Wear your gloves. Have your hand sanitizer. I got to go. Good night, everybody. Night.